Hello, Martian Mellows. I have a video where I'm going to discuss Man of Steel a little more thoroughly. I couldn't really do it without really spoiling kind of anything, really. So I hope you enjoy my non-spoiler review, but this is my spoiler review where I discuss the film at length in a couple parts. And it's brought to you by, of course, Primal Paper Comics. The free download is available at the website, and you can also order Red Knight. Issues 1 through 6 are available right now, and 7 is on the way. More about that in future videos. Now, of course, the Superman movie everyone's been talking about lately, it's been kind of polarizing. Much like Dark Knight Rises. Except, in my opinion, it's better than Dark Knight Rises, frankly. We, of course, know the whole story. It's about the Superman coming to Earth from Krypton. Krypton explodes. General Zod is somewhat irritated. And he brings his homies down to tear the shit out of Earth. Basically kill all the humans and rebuild Krypton on Earth. How he's going to do it, he's going to terraform the shit out of it, killing everybody, and just starting over with a whole new super race, actually, of Kryptonians. So, let's get down to business. Let's see, like I said in my previous review, I really enjoyed all the performances in this film. Let's see, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Kevin Costner, everybody down the line, really. I think Michael Shannon is very good. What I think he does extremely well is the fact that he does a standout job of Zod himself without mimicking or even reminding you of Terrence Stamp's iconic, brilliant version of Zod. And it stands on its own as well. You definitely do kind of see his point of view. He has been genetically engineered to protect Krypton, so what does he do when there's no Krypton? He just keeps going forward, and of course that's generally a point of the film, that Krypton was a race that was kind of coming to an end. They had brought their own destruction even before the planet exploded, really. And this is, I think, a point possibly somewhat influenced by John Byrne's Man of Steel. That was one of the 86,000 DC reboots of Superman's origin, and still my particular favorite, actually, where he suggests that Krypton had kind of like collapsed under its own weight, really. And I really like the way it's done. Also the way that it's discussed that Krypton had expanded throughout the galaxy, and kind of creating an empire, but once it started to crumble, they basically literally collapsed their empire, drawing itself in, always thinking about protecting Krypton for the day, and not really thinking about the future, which of course is ironically the thing that really destroyed them. And of course, when you think about this, what I like about that is that also leaves the possibility of a Supergirl out there. That there is some teenage girl out there that will eventually find her way to Earth. Actually, that wouldn't be too dissimilar to the way Bruce Timm introduced the character into the Superman animated series, where she lived on one of Krypton's moons, and when Krypton exploded, that pretty much devastated that moon. So yeah, I like the way it's all handled. One of the things that I may have briefly touched on this in my non-spoiler review was you're hit with a lot of information on that Krypton sequence right from the get-go, and to the point where you feel like you just jumped into the third act of another film, and it's taken some time to catch up, really. I remember thinking in the film that, boy, I hope a lot of this stuff is explained. I hope this underwater baby nursery thing is explained. I hope that this skull thing that they're dissolving and putting in Kal-El, I hope that's explained. And it all, I think, expertly unfolded throughout the story. And one of the things I liked about the way that the origin unfolds as well is, yeah, we've been there. We've seen this origin. I think I think it was just a good idea to sort of do it in a non-linear fashion, because we've already seen this movie before. I mean, essentially, this film is basically the first two Donner films. We have the destruction of Krypton, Superman come to Earth, learning who he is, and oh hey, fighting Zod. That's pretty much the first two films. So that's kind of a challenge. Like, well, how do we do that story without just basically remaking the first two films? And I think in that kind of like direction, I think that was a good way to do it. And I think Zack Snyder really amped his game. I felt like I was almost watching a Christopher Nolan film, the way this film is paced and the way it's cut and edited. I mean, yeah, there's definitely some touches of Zack Snyder in the film. I think he handles action better, and I do think he handles female characters better than Christopher Nolan as well. So there's that. I mean, and I think it was a good choice, because I keep thinking about how Warner Brothers really hasn't changed at all when you think about it. Because back in the 90s, when Warner Brothers wanted to reboot the Superman franchise after years of being dormant, they went to the guy who made successful Batman films and said, "Hey, you did Batman, you could do Superman too, Tim Burton." And of course, that really didn't pan out because he doesn't understand Superman. And I'm really happy that that didn't happen, because he was trying to turn Superman into a Tim Burton character, and Superman is not a Tim Burton character. I love Tim Burton characters, but Superman is not that guy. And so that's probably why it collapsed and fell apart, because they kept getting further and further away of what Superman was all about. Now this time around, Warner Brothers has gone, "Hey, Christopher Nolan, you made some successful Batman films. You obviously could do Superman." And thankfully, Christopher Nolan is kind of done with superheroes, at least directing them, and was smart enough to take a step back, which of course working with David Goyer again, and bringing on Zack Snyder, who's done pretty much half his career superhero films, or comic book films, I should say, with Watchmen and 300. So yeah, weird, huh? Oh, how history repeats itself. So I guess it's only fitting that kind of mirror the first two Donner films as well. And of course, that's not the only thing that bears an uncanny resemblance to some of the elements in the first two Superman films. Yeah, there's product placement, which I hear people complain about, but have you seen Superman 2? Hey, remember that scene where Superman throws Zod into a gigantic Coca-Cola sign? Yeah, I saw that too. Matter of fact, that whole sequence is a commercial for something. So yeah, it happened again in this film. But I think the product placement in Man of Steel, I think, was done a little more subtly, where they just kind of felt like natural places where, in Superman 2, that they literally look like a Coca-Cola ad, specifically with the Zod throwing sequence. And let's see, and what's that other thing that reminds me of Superman 2 that Man of Steel did? Oh, it's something. Oh yeah. Now, of course, this is a spoiler review, so don't blame me. I'm sure you've already heard this anyway. But of course, the scene that is a real deal breaker, or should I say neck breaker, for a lot of fans, is the scene where Superman does kill Zod. And it really does depend on where you fall on this moment, I think, for a lot of people. I mean, people either love it or hate it, and a lot of people, I've heard people say they walked out of the film depressed when they walked out. That apparently wasn't me, because I felt pretty good walking out of the film. I rather enjoyed that, and enjoyed the film, I should say. I'll tell you my little take on the whole neck cracking thing. The the scene, of course, was pretty well set up where they had been through this extraordinary fight. Metropolis has gone through 89,000 9/11s in one day. We've had this tremendous, horrifying experience Superman's been put through all this time. That, hey, his world, forget being from Krypton and that shit. He is from Earth, and this is what he considers his home. Is all being endangered because of him. So, yeah, that's a lot to take. And, yeah, we get to that point where he has Zod in the headlock. Zod starts using his heat vision and about to annihilate a family, specifically the father trying to protect the family. Now, of course, that links up with the scene where he lost his father, Jonathan Kent. And I think what really struck me as a quite an emotional scene where he didn't use his powers, and it cost him the life of his father, but his father had made that choice because he was protecting him, right back at him, because he was afraid if he used his powers then he would have been exposed. So he would rather die than have him endangered like that. That scene really does get to me when I see it, when I think about it. Anyway, of course, here he is in that similar situation where he is on the other end, where he can save the life of a father by using his powers. Now, I think they did a fairly good job kind of setting that situation up where it's either kill Zod or let innocent people die. I do agree that maybe they could have done a better job, like maybe showing the fact that maybe he couldn't move Zod, or if he jerked him away or tried to cover his eyes, maybe the heat ray would have annihilated other people. Maybe if they could have made that a little bit stronger of a case. But otherwise, it doesn't make Superman a murderer to kill in order to protect the lives of others. That's not what Punisher does. Punisher seeks out and plans to murder people who might not even be doing anything at the time that he kills them, but because they're mobsters or something like that, he goes and specifically murders them. That's not what Superman did. And he killed in battle to save people, in a situation that really did strike a chord with him emotionally, personally. I think one of the things that they could have done to sell this to more people is if there had been a scene after that scene, because I think one of the mistakes they made in this movie was that they go from that scene where he kills Zod to save that family, and he is distraught. And what I like about that, he doesn't throw him down and spit on him and go, "Screw you, Zod." He's actually upset. He didn't want to kill Zod. That was not something he was hoping he would have to do, and it really hurts him and devastated him. Not only did he take a life, but he took the last life from Krypton, so it really tortured him. That was a great way to deal with it. Unlike Superman 2, where, I don't know, I mean, he kills Zod and goes, "Hey, Lois, that's pretty awesome. Let's have a super kiss." But by the way, I know occasionally I've heard people go, "Well, in the Donner cut or the TV cut," fuck that shit. I don't get to me about that kind of shit. The canon film, the film that was for a generation, the film. There was no other film, there was no other cut, was this Lester theatrical version where he kills Zod after making him helpless. So, I understand the Donner cut, I understand there's a TV cut of Zod not being dead, but forget it. Most people for 20, 30 years knew this version. So please. So we have that scene where he cries in agony over this. And then we shoot right to the scene in the desert with the two soldiers, the general and the private or something like that. and it's kind of fun and comical, and we're basically using that scene to set up his relationship with the world, which is a good scene, but there should have been a scene in between these two scenes. And I'll tell you what, it should have been similar to a scene that was in Avengers, where there's a quick montage of TV reports having the world react to this situation, and just exposing the fact that this is a new world right now because of this sequence in, the battle sequence in Invasion of New York. They really should have been a scene like that. And there also probably should have been one more scene of Superman coming to terms with what he had to do and what he will do in the future. That would have been very important to put in the film, to maybe sell it to people that were a little uncomfortable about him having to take a life. And I think that would have been maybe a good idea. But hey, hindsight's 20/20. I think that's all I really have to say about the film. I enjoyed a lot. I think it's fun. I think it's action-packed. I think it's rather emotional in scenes. This is pretty much the Superman and Lois I wanted to see in a long time. So there you go. That's where I stand on it. I think that's it. So push the button, Lindsay.